Okay.
Charge some phones, that kind of stuff.
Sounds good. So the way we do it, don't open it yet. Sorry. Welcome to the latest episode of Over a Pint. We're at the Banff Western Connection Conference in Banff. You can tell by the name of Banff Western. We're here. We're actually really excited to have a good friend, Billy Ekofo, on. So why don't you introduce yourself for people who don't know you?
Billy Ekofo is my name, and that's probably all you need to know. I've been in the industry for, 5 years? Yeah. And
I think we met 3 years ago.
yeah, that was actually, we met
That was
in New
your
York.
first Inman, I think.
No, it was
It was early, because you had not done ambassador or anything yet.
yeah, it was probably the first one I was an ambassador. So.
No, you weren't an ambassador when we met. That was before.
Oh, I wasn't. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You had talked about wanting to be one.
Exactly.
And then you got it at the next one, I think.
No. I take it back. I was an ambassador there because I remember giving one of our dear friend who's now racing in Monaco, my Leonard. That was the same.
Right.
The same Inman. So
I
yeah,
could have sworn we met before you were. I could be wrong too.
we're probably Facebook friends.
Yeah.
But we never met in real life.
That's
Just
possible too. Sometimes it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
All right. So for this episode, we're gonna drink the Velvet Fog, a local Banff, or where is it from in Alberta? Oh, it's actually from Calgary, the Wild Rose.
There you
Brewery.
go.
So
Yes.
drinking Velvet Fog.
Indeed.
That's pretty good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's fun. It's nice to finally have you in the same area, and we can.
I know.
Only downside of the show is you can only interview people who are in your area.
Oh, really? You don't travel for it yet?
So, I'll travel at conferences and line up a lot of them.
Okay.
But the
yeah.
downside is because it's beer, you can only do so many episodes at a time. I'm breaking my rule today that I'm going to do a third one.
Wow.
Normally, I limit it to 2 in a day.
Okay.
So that's also why it's not tall cans. We went with smaller cans.
Yeah, you went with baby cans this time.
Yeah, because normally it's one tall can, it fits perfectly, we're good to go.
Yeah.
But I'm if I'm gonna film 3, because I still have another 3 to film before I leave here. Then I got a couple in Inman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta
Slow down, Andrew.
Cheers.
Well,
Thanks,
cheers,
bro.
mate.
Yeah,
So,
it's gonna be fun. Not bad.
this is not a bad beer.
No, not at all. Do you drink beer much? Or?
I do.
No?
It's more I don't like drinking beer. This is an exception, right? We're talking whatever, but usually it has to have a good burger. It's just the pairing has to match. You know what I'm saying?
fair.
It's like walking around with a glass of wine and no food.
I don't drink wine.
Oh well, you're not missing
I'm
much.
the only Italian I don't know who doesn't drink it.
Well, there's one you can drink that are more desserts
Yeah.
tasting. Those one, you pair with a little piece of cake or whatever, and that's fine. But usually the nice wines, that's not the stuff you put on a glass and you just kind of talk.
What would be your favorite drink?
Shoot, French red. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, though I have to say New Zealand has some pretty good wine too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but beer I'm more like the Belgian.
Yeah.
Belgian, light. So, anyways, but this is actually not bad.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. So Wild Rose Brewery, if you're in the Calgary, Alberta area.
Is it local?
So the brewery, I believe, just based on the can, is in Calgary.
Yes.
And Wild Rose
In case
is
you didn't know,
a Canadian,
Billy. Yeah.
or an Alberta thing. I'm pretty sure one of the political parties is the Wild Rose Party.
Really?
I could be wrong, so if you're in Alberta, I'm sure you'll correct me.
Yes. Please correct him.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they have a party that's either officially the Wild Rose Party or it's a colloquial Wild Rose. But I think it's the official. I think it's a break off of the Conservative Party, if I'm correct. But I'm not up on Alberta politics that much, so sorry guys from Alberta.
Neither should you. So stay away from it.
Yeah, it's not a political show.
No.
Even though you're from DC.
Yeah.
And coming up during the shutdown.
Yeah, it's okay.
Did that affect travel coming here?
No. It's actually
back, maybe?
perhaps I don't know. So when I traveled here, I left pretty early in the day yesterday, and usually the time that I like to get to the airport, it's pretty, security and lines are pretty much non-existent. right?
So are you traveling on a U.S. or Congolese passport?
U.S. Yeah. So I was.
You're a full citizen, right?
I am. Yeah. So, which you don't realize just the importance of a U.S. passport until you have to go somewhere. And it's like, oh, U.S. citizens that way. Everybody else, I'm like, well, why are we special? But I don't know.
It's like when I go to the EU, I'm like, I wish I had an EU passport because you see that line.
That's it.
The EU people, they're going in so nice, and you're like, and all you peasants over here.
Yes. But look, it grants you benefits and it helps. But
similar with the Canadian one.
Yes, though it's always interesting to me coming to Canada. Because this would be my second time in Canada.
And then you went to Winnipeg in the winter before.
Yeah. I don't know. Great people there. The weather. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's cold. The reason it's called the Winter Peg is a nickname.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. Oh, nice. But the people made up for it. So I was visiting some clients there, and what a great group of people. So sad that they're not here in Banff.
So what do you think of Banff so far?
I love it. So I drove last night under the cover of darkness. And when you drive somewhere, you can tell that there's something amazing, or you're being surrounded by things that are amazing.
Yeah.
You could feel it. You see the shadows. I'm like, man, if it was just lit. And then so this morning, I got up pretty early because of time difference. And I had to call my people back home, make sure they were okay, whatever. And then you could see the sun creeping over the mountains. And it was like a sight to behold, Yeah. And then you don't realize it. So I got out of the hotel. I'm staying in the Rimrock.
Yeah.
And so we're in the Fairmont.
Amazing for views.
Yes. And then, but coming here, like you get to see, it's everywhere, right? And you feel like it's just picturesque.
Yeah.
And so,
one of
great
the
spot.
most beautiful places I've ever been.
Yeah, well, we both go to Inman, so like if they have Inman here, like I will not object.
Yeah. So Brad,
yes, if you're
watching, I will target this as an ad to people who like Inman News, just to add a little shot of getting it to you.
Yeah,
definitely post it in Banff when you do Canada.
Or
Whistler. You could do Whistler too.
So I don't know Whistler.
So it's similar, except it's not. So the difference between Banff and Whistler is Banff's a national park. Whistler, it's not.
Okay.
I don't think. But so it's more built up. There's more of a village. They've put a lot of money into having a really cool village there.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think from a scenery, I probably prefer here.
Yeah.
But the drive to Whistler from Vancouver is nicer than the drive from Calgary to here.
Really?
Yeah, because you're going along the water for a lot of it too. So it's mountains, water, and that's it goes out to the ocean. So
that's like the best
ocean, river kind of coming in, and so that I actually prefer. I think the drive to Whistler.
Okay.
But I think I like from a scenery perspective Banff better. Whistler, there's more to do.
Interesting.
So there's kind of depending on what you're looking for,
right?
Advantages and disadvantages to both.
Okay.
But if you get a chance to do Whistler, also take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt.
How far is Whistler from Banff?
It's in the 1 to 2 hour range, I think.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. No, it's similar to this.
Got it.
Yeah, it's not too much different. So that's where, if you're from Vancouver, that's your vacation spot generally.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so pretty good.
Noted.
Yeah, so there you go. Your little rundown of Canada.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm getting to know the different areas. And
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So when are you coming up? So how often do you think now, because you have the new job?
Yeah.
How often now do you think you'll be coming to Canada?
It just depends. So it will be... For the trips that I will be taking to Canada, I have to plan it so I have multiple visits, right? Yeah. Because it's a long trek, and so you want to make sure. I want to make sure that I'm visiting as much of our members as possible.
Yeah.
So.
So what's your role? What's the company I'm playing? It's global or leading real estate company,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, leading our.
What's your role?
So we are part of I am part of a business solutions team, right? So there's six of us, and we all handle accounts between US, Canada, and some parts of Latin America as well. The whole idea is, so leading RE as a company, we offer, membership. Our members, they get, I guess, for lack of better terms, some benefits, right? Some things like we offer them, some value proposition in terms of, support. We assist them with referral placement, that type of thing. But it's also, as a as part of the business solutions team, brokerages will ask you to come and do a training on a subject matter, right? Yeah. So you need to be familiar with certain, trends and, tendencies in the industry so that you can turn around and help your member companies, with whatever they need. Yeah. In that regard, right? So, I've given trainings on, prospecting and, marketing, that type of thing. Yeah. And so, but it's also working with your members to really, utilize what the organization offer in terms of supports and services. So, and then that's why, you do the travel, mm-hmm. right? You visit a member here and a member there. And, we're a global network, right? And so I think part of the appeal is when people realize that their business is not just in Calgary, right? Yeah. Or in Banff. It's really global, right? And so seeing that transition in their mind and then applying the tools and the services to go along with it, that's really what our team does. Yeah. Right? So it's a pretty good, for me, it's a chance to learn the business from the perspective of a broker owner. Yeah. Right. And so that's really the appeal here. It's like you can have two companies in the same area, right? Part of the same network, leading RE, but completely different in the way they do the business, right? Yeah. Different approach, different, modus operandi. Like it's great. Yeah. And so it's good knowledge. To me, that's like I'm going back to school, right? Like you get to really dive in and work with broker owners. So.
And you were an agent for a bit. Like I
sold real estate for a year and some. Yeah.
And then you moved into, because I remember I think when we met, you were director of lead gen.
Yes.
For Century 21.
Yeah.
Redwood?
Yeah. Okay. So it's one of the largest franchise, Century 21 franchise in the DC, Northern Virginia area. So, I did some lead gen. I managed the lead gen process when we met. Did that for a while, and then I moved into recruiting and, retention. The official title was industry engagement, which you do engage people, but really it's recruiting. Yeah. And then after that, I worked a little bit for Inman and came back to handle more, to do recruiting on the same company, but on a much wider scale. And then, the transition to leading RE happened. And more so because it was really an opportunity for me to dive deeper into understanding brokerage models. Yeah. Recruiting is one of those things that you do because you have to, it's a necessary evil. Like you have to grow the company, you have to recruit agents, right? That's part of the strategy. The downfall to it, in my opinion, is that there's not really any formalized training for it. Yeah. Right. You're hoping that, you can sell the heck out of your tools and services to an agent and finally they'll fall in love with you and come, right? But then after that, right, like how do you improve upon that process, right? There's not really, I don't think there's really a core, like you have, you teach people how to use Facebook, right? To do ads and, how to run real estate ads on Facebook, right? Like there's nothing like this for recruiting. And so from a career standpoint, like you can see that you're gonna plateau at some point.
Do you know Danny Wood?
I know of him.
So I should introduce you because he basically does what I do, but to help brokers recruit.
Good. Yeah. So that's interesting. So,
that's his main business is helping brokerages with recruiting.
Well, see, that's good to know that he does that because I think that's one of the, in my opinion, it's a really underserved side of the industry. There's not really any formalized. Yeah. You go to conferences, you learn how to do marketing, you learn how to do agent development, retention, right? Like culture, like those are things that you discuss, but like nobody really discuss recruiting because I think there's still like a negative stigma to it, and so.
Well, I think it's part of that negative is just because similar to how some real estate agents have the negative stigmas is some people just do it so poorly. Like I get recruited to brokerages just because they see my company is called Just Sell Homes and they think I'm a broker. And they try to recruit me. I'm like, and I get the same like I think there's a specific company must have a script they give out.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I get the same Facebook Messenger message almost word for word,
right,
from the same agents from the same company regularly.
I mean that's also right. It goes to my point. There's not really any there's tricks that people like to use, and it's like this same template, whatever, but you see it multiple times, and you wonder, well, is there anything different? And so when I recruited, I tried to do it a bit differently, perhaps to the chagrin of my boss at the time, good friend, Eddie. But it's hard because you're trying to convey a different value proposition to an agent, right? The whole purpose of me reaching out to you is that I believe that you could do a lot more business in my company, right? But like, how do I make that value proposition to you, right? And so I'm asking you to move your business, right, from where you are to here. Like, that's a huge ask. And I don't think sometimes we realize it as an industry. Like, when we think of, collectively, and myself included, when I was doing it, at some point I just got caught up with, we can just close these people and they're going to move. But if you slow down, and try and analyze really what's going on, it's like, this is someone that has worked on a business, right? It's, brand new agents, it's relatively easy, right? But an experienced agent, right? Someone that's doing volume year over year, how do you, right? And so, when you have companies offering recruiting bonuses, large enough to entice some of those agents to move, we didn't do that, right? We never did at Redwood. And so what do you say, right? And so we had to really think strategically about, this is what we say we do. How do we match that up to the tools and services that we provide? And that, to me, that's a harder exercise, because what happens, it puts you on notice. Right. If you say you are you're working on growing my business, part of that, call it, I don't know, part of that offering is you making, telling the agent that I have the tools to make you the mayor of your whatever, of where you live. Tools that what's exactly what's going on in the market. Well, how does that represent it, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have neighborhood statistics that you can give them? What about this? Like, how are you disseminating that information to the agent so that they can turn around, right, and then give that up to the people or to the general population? So it's a lot more. Anyways, you can get wrapped into, I don't know, the minutia of just calling and prospecting. But
so what do you find are like some brokers doing that, like, are kind of more innovative and then even not necessarily innovative, but like, what do you find as like the effective recruiting strategies that brokers are using right now to bring in talent? That's
a good question. I think, pushing everything else aside, the recruiting strategy that works is when a broker owner, or even a recruiter for that matter, has a genuine interest in the agent, right? Not necessarily in their numbers, right? We all know what they produce, but really trying to figure out why they are in the business and why it drives them, right? And, having an honest enough conversation with an agent, you will always find out something they wish they could do better. Right? And, if the conversation is legitimate enough, then the agent volunteers that information to you. It's like, I wish I could prospect better. Why? Because I know that if I prospect, I could perhaps, increase my business by 1.5x, right? Okay. Well, we offer training and prospecting. Would you like to sit in on the training to see how we do it? Sure. Right. Well, not people, but you see my point. Like, it's matching whatever they say they're deficient in to what you have to offer. I think most of the time, that's where the disconnect is, right? An agent would tell you that I'm deficient at this, and you're trying to sell them a plethora of things at your company, and we're not listening to each other. So I think the best recruiting that I've seen brokers do is when they truly understand what the need of the agents are, and they are actually matching those needs, right?
So for an agent looking, like, maybe they're not happy with their brokers, maybe they just feel stale. Like, what would the questions be that an agent should be asking brokers?
Interesting. So I think every agent if you're listening, if you're an agent, that I think you should really the one question you should ask every single broker, right, is how are you helping me grow my business? Not, what you're offering. It's like, how are you helping me grow my business, right? And so a broker has now to show you exactly what they do to help you grow a business, because that's really the only, to my opinion, that's the only value proposition any brokerage should provide agents. Really, at the core, culture, whatever, that comes in later. But really, when you come at this brokerage, we're going to help you build a viable business. On one hand, we're going to teach you how to do it right? So Kel Williams is really good about teaching agents like how to build a business. EXP is really good about it too, right? And that's a really core strength. I think generally speaking, where we all lack is that, when an agent comes, how am I making that agent different than the rest of the pack, right? Like, how am I helping that agent develop their own voice, their own branding, their own message, so that, they could be, they could find their own niche. And, am I that deeply involved with an agent to know that, right? And that's part of growing a business, right? If you think about it, if Coca-Cola were to sell today, you run, I don't know, the numbers, it has value. Part of that value in dollars that will be assigned to Coca-Cola is just to the brand.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you buy it, and it's a number that's out there, but it's a huge number, right?
Yeah,
and so,
massive.
Right, it's astronomical, right? And so the same thing with like all the brands that we know, like if they sell, like part of that sell price is the, what value is attributed to the brand. It always amazes me that we're not helping agents develop that in real estate. Part of it, I think, because when you do that, you actually, it's kind of like you're exposing yourself, because you're creating an entity or an agent now with a unique brand that can go, and they can go anywhere, right? The business will follow them, and they will always be known for just sell homes, whatever, right? And so then it's easier on a brokerage level to teach you just the business building component, right? Because the brand building component, actually, it's, to me, that's the other part of the coin. Yeah. When you put those two together, that's the that's the magic. Yeah. Well, we only focus on the part that brokerage can control, is like the business tools, whatever. But if you think about it, if I help an agent build a strong brand, yes, they could take that brand anywhere else that they want. But literally, I want them to look at the time they spend here as foundational for them. Like, that's a recruiting tool.
So when you're looking at an online brand and like building your personal brand, and like, so you were Century 21, like I used to work with Remax, like as an agent, then at head office. Like, obviously the push there is leverage the brand. Yes. So for agents looking to market, build their own, but then they have the value of like one of the big names. Yeah. How would you go about like the conjunction of, we still want to leverage the power of the brand while differentiating myself, so I could, in theory, be anywhere? I
think, so that's a great question. You can always leverage the brand, right? Like, that's the, that's the bet, whatever, the foundation of what the business. Hey, I'm affiliated with Century 21, and they have such a, they're all over the world, right? By virtue of that affiliation, right, I can help with the business, right? Yeah. That's the offering there. But who are you? That is a different answer, right? Like, what drives you? Like, why do you do the business the way you do it, right? The answer here does not need to depend on, the company, whatever, on Century 21 or Remax or Keller Williams, whatever. Like, that has to be independent. Yeah. I think that's why we need to start teaching agents how to do it, right? Because you do it right, then that's a very powerful thing for you to have. Yeah. Now, this is where it comes dicey, because if I teach you that, I don't want you to leave, right? Like, if you were to leave, I'm like, well, I just wasted all that energy and resources in teaching you something really cool. So then every time I go to, you come in the office, the broker, right, or the recruiter for that matter, helping you kind of build your business using our tools, like, now I am on notice. Yeah. And I have to show you every single day that your business and the brand that you're building has no other place to go than here.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's a harder value proposition, because now you have to wonder, is this chair conducive to grow this agent's business?
Yeah.
Is the monitor we're using, are the tools we use right? Are we delivering on what we say we do? And if you're not, guess who's going to know it? The agent will.
Yeah.
Right. And so then, like, what do you do? Like, to my point, it reshapes the way you deliver value to your agents.
Yeah.
And I think that's what needs to happen.
And I've noticed a lot, and I've even seen it in my business too. Like, there's always that focus on getting new clients.
Yeah.
Or whether it's someone to sell their home, or you're a broker trying to recruit agents. But then how much of that time, because people talk about 80% of the job of being a real estate agent is just prospecting for clients.
Yeah.
Same with recruit. Like, we talk to managers, brokers come to us about advertising to help them with recruiting, and it's all about recruiting. How much time do you find a lot of these leading companies you're working with spend on retention?
Well, that's a double-edged sword, right? And so usually you have to spend equal amount of resources, in my opinion, to cover both fronts, right? So usually the influx is on getting the agents in, right? The same amount of energy should be here too, right? Yeah. And that's what I was that's what I was alluding to when for the people that come in, you have made promises here. You have told them certain things. You have sold them certain things. How are you making sure that those things actually get delivered? Because that's really what drives most of the time an agent leaving a company, is because what was said here and what they're experiencing are completely opposite. Yeah. Sometimes they just, they offer them more money somewhere, and you can't control everything. But I think the majority of, the process in terms of recruiting, you control the messaging that you have here, you control the tools and the services you offer, and then you ensure that those people here are, utilizing what you're offering them. Yeah. But you don't make, promises out of wazoo here and not deliver upon it. To me, that's the huge disconnect, right? Yeah. I'm not including the fact that, someone can just literally decide to go to another brokerage because it feels more like a family there, right? Like, everyone has its reasons. Yeah. But I think really the majority of people get disenchantized with the fact that some, they join the company and then 3 months into it, they're like, I don't know, what was said here and what I'm experiencing here is just not fit. And, that's unfortunate, because I think sometimes a lot of energy is, it's not wasted, it's just invested here. Mm-hmm. And then, that's the stuff that's being measured, right? Everybody say, yeah, we have a 97% retention rate. Okay. But, you can measure that by just looking at your agent count, right? Like, if you have the same amount, like you have a pool of agents that come in and then one that goes out, like you literally maintaining the same, like, it's not really a true measure, right? Like, it's just a wash at this point. Well, like, really, it's like, how many agents do we bring in? How many of those actually stay? And why did they stay? Like, that's really what I was always after. It's like, you came in, 2, 3, 4, 7 years, you were here. Why? You could have gone anywhere you wanted, but why do you choose to be here? Right? And that's the story. Those are the stories that brokerages should focus on telling people. Yeah. Right? Longevity in real estate is just not really, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something that's celebrated, and I think it should be, right? When you look at an agent and you look at the fact that they still remain, I'm not going to use the term loyal, but they still found that their business cannot go anywhere else than where they are. It has to account for something. As a recruiter, you need to be mindful of that, right? Is it going to change one day? Sure. But, like, you need to understand that, trying to pressure them to make a move doesn't really result in anything. Because, in fact, every time I encounter an agent like that, I'm like, you have something really good.
Yeah.
You know, stay where you are. Like this,
yeah.
Nobody, if you feel like this, yeah. But then they still want to have the relationship too, which is,
So like an interesting one too, and it's happening a lot in the industry, is like where you look at, and even discount broker is not like the right term, but like the ones where, and agents even know that going into it, it's not about building their business, just they're the cheapest option. It's like, super cheap monthly versus then like the high end full service type of side of it. Do you look at like different, do you guys work with like on all spectrum, or are you more looking at...
You mean like when I used to do it, or?
Yeah, like it's like the recruiting pitch, because obviously for them, the thing is just, we're the cheapest.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, my opinion, right, and maybe not shared by people, but essentially Billy's opinion is that, the cheaper, non-existent fees, you're paying for what you get, right? It is hard to convince someone to give you, I don't know, $24,000 every year. That's where, to me, like, that was the scary part of my job, right? I am asking you to invest $24,000 every single, we were on a CAP program, right? $24,000 every single year in this company as an agent. And then we are promising you that we will grow your business, so much so that whatever you're investing every year, that, it will matter, right? That is a huge ask, right? And so it's easier to say, well, here you'll only invest $800, but then for $24,000, what are you getting, right? And so you literally have to list everything, right? And that's really, the pitch is different on both fronts. Like here, say, you only, you can keep more money in your pocket. That's true, right? But there's not that many agents that can keep the money and do everything that a full service brokerage is offering, right? Like they offer help with marketing and lead generation and, customer, content management system, whatever, like, those are things now that you have to think about yourself, right? Like, do you have the bandwidth to do it? Do you have the, I don't know, the time and the resources to do it? It's, it's hard.
Yeah.
So that's, again, I think to answer your question, it's just, what are they offering you here? What are they offering you there? And it's the value that they're saying attributed to their service. Is it really worth your money?
So coming at it from, because like obviously now, especially the new job, like in your old one, you meet, and just being around all the conferences, like you meet a ton of brokers, things like that. And one of the biggest issues that keeps coming up is like lower quality agents ruining the reputation, or unethical people.
Yeah.
How much attention do you find brokerages put to like taking agents out of the brokerage who they feel like aren't living up to the brand versus, well, we want to keep them because they're making us money?
Well, right, like that's the double-edged sword, right? Look, real estate is one of those industry where, in the end of the day, money tends to talk louder, and it's just the way it is, right? And so I have friends that have companies, they're broker owners, and they will rather hold on to an agent that is a pain in the rear hand, top to bottom. But that agent is a producing agent. It's making the company money, right? To, even contemplating the risk of telling this agent, like, sorry, you can't be here. And, hoping that a similar producing agent will come along and find the company to be, of interest and ultimately join. Like, that's a hard one. So yeah, it because you're sacrificing bottom line dollar, it's always a hard, and look, I never owned a brokerage, partially because of that, because I never want to be in a position where this becomes the choice I have to make. We can't let this person go, as horrible as they are, but
the market share, the money,
it's good. They're paying us. Yes, we always fight for the bill. With this agent, every transaction is a nightmare, and we have to do everything. But they're paying us, and we're getting some good business from them. Therefore, we should kind of relax. And sometimes quality of service, like the amount of money and resources brokerages invest in those agents, it's taking away from the same amount they could invest in actually good agents in the same company. And agents talk, right? They see that and they're like, well, then what is my value, right? And that's the other piece. Like when an agent, confronts you with that, what do you say, right? Like you have no recourse because it's absolutely true, right? And so, and that's one of the reasons sometimes other agents, leave the company because they see that, some people are I don't know, treated better, right? Than, even though they're horrible, but somehow they keep getting like a favorable treatment. And so,
which leads me perfectly into the next question.
Okay. Oh gosh.
So, and it just reminded me because I've seen it happen at a brokerage that I've done a lot of stuff with in the past where a lot of great agents there. Then they end up recruiting arguably the biggest guy in the area.
Yeah.
Like hundreds and hundreds of deals.
Yeah.
But from a culture fit,
it was terrible.
There's a lot of people who didn't like him.
Yeah.
So right away they lost 3 top producers the second they announced he was coming because they're like, we don't want to be at a company where he's at.
Yeah.
Like how much thought do you find is put in by brokers into the culture fit of bringing that person in?
Well, there are some, that definitely put that into thoughts. There are some that don't, right? To them is, again, when the numbers talk, that's the only thing you look for.
Yeah.
Right. This agent can bring us $100,000 in terms of revenue. Let's try to recruit them. Never mind, the reputation, how other people perceive him, or her. It's just, that's what drives it. And so then you're like, well, we'll work, we'll try to handle the reputation stuff on the side and we'll work it out. But as long as they pay. And that's a horrible trade-off. Because then the very people who have been loyal to your company, right? Like that's the other thing. Sometimes real estate is maybe too loyal of an industry, and there's nothing really to be loyal about, right? Like you can literally move anywhere. Right? But some in realtor really appreciate what the brokers are doing for them, and they want to continue. And then by virtue of just bringing someone in that's not even a fit, just because they can add to your bottom line revenue, then you're omitting or you're disqualifying. Well, not disqualifying, but like you're treating the other ones that stays like they didn't matter at all. And their voice and their complaints just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? And so, and that's the other thing, like you always, when you recruit, like you always want to know what other agents are saying about this agent, right? And take it with a grain of salt, right? Some agents are like, hey, it's too good, I don't want him here, therefore I'm going to say, whatever. We know that. But generally speaking, when you're trying to find someone, you're trying to find someone's reputation or to learn more about it, like there's a nice thread that builds up.
Yeah.
And so, don't look for the outliers, look for the one that's constant. That's the one, like if you bring an agent in and everybody's like so excited, right, that tells you something. If the moment they hear a rumor that someone is coming and they're like, oh no, I will literally quit if this person comes, like it's a bit of a red flag. And so, that's, I've seen that happen. It's unfortunate, but sometimes money is just a talking factor, and that's I don't like when that is. So
I was looking at the time. I know you said you want to do the Banff ICNY live too. Do you want to do that today, or do you want to save that for tomorrow, or keep going? Because we have another one at 4:30, so I just want to make sure. If you want to do that today, I want to
do it outside.
With the mountains and the beautiful view.
Yes.
You know what we should do? Outside with no coats on and
that's it, dude. I have to be there for the week. I don't want to get sick.
I'm flying straight from here to New York.
Gosh, I'm going home on Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe doing some laundry and then taking the train from DC.
Yeah. This is the first time I had to check a bag for conference in so long. I've gone 10 days straight. So and then I had to bring everything to shoot. I got all that set up, the glasses. So normally I actually bring this. So I normally give the guest a glass to keep, but I'm not bringing because I have so many filming over this 10 days. I'm I can't bring an entire bag of just glass.
But I guess the beauty is that you didn't have to worry about shipping it to customs here, right? Or did
Yeah, there's no issue with customs here.
Oh,
it's all in Canada. But I'm coming from here to New York. So it's more. So like the only awkward thing coming through with this gear going from here to New York, is it's hard to like be like, listen, I'm not coming for business. I'm coming to attend a conference. Because like they see all the gear,
they're like,
no, you're working.
Yeah.
So like I just be like, no. Like I had to come from that conference and I had everything with me. But because the show's not business, like it's more just like a hobby. It's a little bit different there, but I'm still gonna film a few in New York.
By all means, like
so it should be good. But it's an interesting one because like what I love doing in person interviews, I don't like as much doing like the Skype type of ones. Plus, I wanted it to be different, which the in-person ads, you can only do so many, and you gotta stack them up. So like I was telling you, like we have another one coming up after this, and that's 3 in a row,
that's
all drinking beer and talking, and
gosh,
it's a lot of like should have brought a second shirt, switch the shirt out for the next one. But we'll just stagger the episodes.
Just stagger them.
We'll wear a different one tomorrow for the ones we're filming tomorrow.
Nice.
But it's pretty good. But it's
good.
Yeah, so you're enjoying the new role? And
I am. Yeah. It's been good.
Yeah, it's good.
Good people, good company. Yep. I couldn't be happier.
And can you stay in Washington for it?
Yeah. So I work remotely. But, if you think about it, 90% of what we do revolves around going on site, and spending a couple of days here and there with clients, and so it would stand to reason that I don't move to Chicago.
Yeah. Do you go often?
No, we go maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and so
that's not bad.
No, and it's a chance for all of us, to be in the same room, and
Does your wife sell? Because I know that she's in the industry though.
Yeah, so she's a title attorney.
Right.
And so,
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, and she manages an office for a local title company.
Okay.
And so we are.
Is that how you guys met?
No. We met way before that. Somehow we both ended up in the industry. But before, I was working in media, and she was working for a big insurance company, still in doing some lawyer stuff. And so, yeah, man. Thanks for
coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So we'll do a quick little wrap up, and then we're good to go. So basically, I'll just be like, thanks for watching this episode, and then be like, how can people reach you if they want to get a hold of you?
Yeah.
And then we're good to go.
Awesome.
All right, that's it for this episode of Over a Pint. Really appreciate you coming on. If people want to get a hold of you, learn more about you, learn about your company, where do they go? What do they do?
Well, it's basically trying to come. You can find me. My website BillyEkofo.com. Look for me on social at Billy Ekofo, both on Twitter.
We'll tag them either up there or down there, depending on the platform.
Yes. At Billy Ekofo on Twitter, at Billy Ekofo on Instagram, Billy Ekofo on Facebook. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So I'll try not to make things complicated.
Nice and simple.
Yeah.
And since it's mostly a Canadian audience, when are you coming back next to Canada for people to see you?
Oh, that I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't know yet.
Gonna get those.
Yeah, I know. And they've been fantastic this far. So
you gotta come up to Collingwood in July for the Blue Mountain Conference.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I might.
It's mine. You gotta be there,
dude. It's like right around the same time as Inman.
Yeah, it's. I think it's 2 weeks. So we're gonna be the week of July 8th. So I think it's
so 2 weeks before.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they moved it earlier, because it used to be August.
Yes, and now
they push it back. In Vegas in July. Whew.
Yeah,
it's gonna be warm, but that's okay.
Yeah,
but it should be fun.
It should be. First time. I think it's gonna be bigger.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. Really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. It was good.
We'll see you next time. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll see you in a few days. Oh, the rest of the conference in a few days in New York. We're going to spend basically the next 10 days together.
Yeah.